So the question is again, a light ray is incident from glass Mivitana to air interface, and you need to find that angle of incidence. You need to find out that angle of incidence for which the deviation angle of light becomes 90 degree. But please remember, when light will travel from light travels from air to glass, or sorry, glass to air, delta cannot be 90 degree, right? Because even at the condition of TIR, even at the condition when the angle of incidence is equals to the critical angle, then also the deviation cannot be 90 degree. That is the maximum possible case, right? And the angle of refraction is 90 degree. Still, the deviation angle is not 90, right? Yes or no? So basically, for deviation angle to be equal to 90 degree, TIR should happen, right? And if TIR is happening, then what will happen? Now you are incidenting at an angle greater than the critical angle, and the light ray is not going to air. The light ray is coming back like this. This should be your reflected ray. This is your incident ray. And can you see if you draw the light ray now, this angle can be 90 degree, right? Yes, sir. I'll try to draw
Yes,
it
sir.
in a way that diagram doesn't. And can you see now the angle is 90? Yes or no? So for TIR should happen for the deviation angle to be 90 degree. I should be greater than the critical angle. Okay, is this clear? So now tell me this particular thing, guys. This angle is I, this angle is I, and this is delta. Can you see over here? I plus delta should be equals to pi, and from here delta should be equals to pi minus 2i, and they have given the delta to be equals to what? Pi by 2. So pi by 2 is equals to pi minus 2i, and hence our answer is 2i is equals to pi minus pi by 2. 180 minus 90. 180 minus 90 is 90 only. And from here, angle of incidence should be pi by 2. That's the answer. Please write it. समझ में आया कॉन्सेप्ट कैसे भी अप्लाई. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Once you're done writing, then we'll give you next.
So always during total internal reflection, like the angle of incidence and the angle of refraction will be equal.
But when it is reflection, it will follow the normal laws of reflection, right?
Okay. Okay, yes, sir.
Any type, I told you, any type of reflection will follow the laws of reflection. Done, guys. Shall I move on to the next question?
Yes, sir.
Now the question is, find the angle of refraction in a medium which is having refractive index 2 if light is incident in a vacuum making an angle twice the critical. So basically you need to find out the angle of refraction in this case. Please understand the question very well. Huh? This is the angle of incidence. It is going from vacuum to the medium which is having a reflective mu is equals to 2, vacuum is mu equals to 1, and it goes like this, denser to rarer. So this will be R. And so you need to find out this R when this I is basically twice of the critical angle. Right?
So in vacuum, it's mu is equal to 1.
What?
In vacuum, it's
Yeah,
mu
the
is
refractive index is equals to 1. Hello?
yes, sir.
Chill. So what is the answer? First of all, since it's the medium is basically having a refractive index of 2. Let's say it is going from air, this part. Can anyone calculate what is the R approximately 90 degree? What is the critical angle? So can you see over here when angle of incidence is equal to the critical angle, then the refractive angle is 90 degree, right? Yes or no? angle of refraction. From here, you derive that what theta c is basically sine inverse of mu
1
r
by
upon mu d, right? So which will be equal to sine inverse of 1 upon 2, which is 30 degrees. So basically, critical angle for this medium is how much? 30 degrees. So you are incidenting at an angle of 60 degrees, right? Yes or no? So can I write from here 1 multiplied by sine 60 shall be equals to 2 multiplied by sine r? Can I say this by Snell's law? Can I say this, guys? If I can say this, then this will become
Yeah.
by 2. This will become 2 into sine r. And from here, r will be equals to sine inverse of root 3 by 4. Answer. Is this clear? So, see, the question is just very simple. Just need to put on some this thing. Normal Snell's law. Shall I give you next?
Yes, sir. So, sir, I had a doubt.
Bolo.
We can relate through Snell's law. We can relate refractive index with not only the angles but only also with the speed and wavelength, right?
We can do. If you write mu in terms of speed, then you can do that as well.
Mu in terms of c.
Hmm.
And then if we can write it in terms of c, we can also write it in terms of wavelength and frequency.
Yes. You can do
Frequency
it.
doesn't change across the media.
Frequency
It's
will not
only
change.
yeah. Got it.
So guys, there is a prism, right angle to prism, and this is right angle at let's say C. This angle is theta. The refractive index of this is equals to 3 by 2. And the question is, what should be the value of theta? Please remember, all the question in ray optics will consist of geometry. है So I told you, 10th grade geometry regarding all the angles and all. वो थोड़ा सा you need to work it out. So what should be the value of theta so that light entering normally through AC of the prism. Although this question is of prism, but still you know the basics, right? Prism also will derive every formula with the help of basics only. It does not cross the second refracting surface. You don't want the light ray to cross what? The surface AB. You don't want the light ray to pass through AB. So basically you need to do TIR, right? Yes or no? Up suppose if I have incident the light ray like this, if I have incident, this is my incident ray, and can you see on the surface AC I have incident normally, so the light ray will just pass as it is, right? Yes or no? Yes or no?
yes, sir.
So if I say the normal at this particular point, this angle is the angle of incidence, and for the light ray to not go and pass through AB, for light ray to not pass through AB, light should TIR at AB. Yes or no? So basically, the light ray should go like this. So this angle is also right. Yes or no?
Yes.
So always remember the light ray should be, angle should be in such a way that what? Light ray should not pass through this particular thing. And for this to happen, can I say the angle of incidence is basically greater than the critical angle? Can I say this?
Yes,
I
sir.
should be greater than critical angle. And we know, one more thing. Is there any relation between I and theta? Is there any relation between I and theta? This angle was I, this angle is theta. Can you give me any relation between I and theta? This was normal.
I is 90 minus theta.
If this is theta and this is also theta and this whole angle is 90 degrees, so can you see over here I is equals to 90 minus theta.
Theta.
Here.
Yeah.
So for I should be greater than theta, that implies 90 minus theta should be greater than the critical angle. And what is the critical angle of this thing? Having refractive index 3/2, can you see critical angle will be found when the light ray will try to go from glass to air. So can I write critical angle is equal to sine inverse of 1 upon, and this was 3/2, right? Mu r upon mu d. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So sine inverse of 2/3. This is your critical angle. I'll put this over here. So 90 minus theta shall be greater than the critical angle, which is sine inverse of 2/3. And from here, अच्छा inequality किसी को solve करना आती? You remember? If trigonometric inequality भी होती है. Math students are present over here. Since sine is an increasing function, so that's why when I take sine on both sides, what will happen? This inequality sign won't get reversed, and sine of 90 minus theta is basically cos theta. Cos theta should be greater than 2/3, and you can say theta should be greater than, theta should be
2/3.
less than cos inverse of 2/3.
2/3.
Here
Yeah.
inequality gets reversed because cos theta is a decreasing function. And here the equality remains same. Why? Because sine is a increasing function. So whenever a function is increasing, then you know at the time of putting the inequality, you don't change it. If it is decreasing, then yes, you do reverse the inequality. So the answer will be theta should be less than आवाज इको होती है. Cos inverse of 2/3. Clear, guys? Any doubt? Shall I give you one or two more questions? Homework. Suppose, guys, again this is a prism. This is, let's say this is A, B and C. This angle is alpha and I have dipped this prism in what? Water. Okay, so I have dipped this prism in water. The figure shows a right angled prism ABC having a refractive index mu which is equals to 3/2 lowered into water which is having a refractive index of 4/3. Right? Now the question is find the angle alpha so that incident ray normal to AB. It's the same question, just in spite of placing it in air, I have placed it in water. And so that incident ray normal to AB will reflect back in glass from surface BC. So the question is just same as the previous question. So the answer also I'll write alpha should be greater than sine inverse of 8/9. Okay, please try to do this question as homework. One more question I'll give you as homework. Find at what angle fish inside a lake will see a rising sun. So basically, if this is the sea's surface, and sorry, my bad, is sea inside a lake. So suppose if here is the sun, right? So if I have a fish inside the water, and since the sun is just rising above, then can you see this will be the case of what? Grazing incidence. This is the incident ray, and this shall be the reflected ray.
Hmm.
Here shall be the fish. Yes, sir. So basically, at what angle? Find at what angle a fish inside a lake will see a rising sun. So basically, this fish will see the sun at this particular place. This is the actual position of the sun. The sun. This will be the image sun dash, and the refractive index of water they have been made for supervised. So basically, the angle at which this thing will see is basically, can you see, theta c from the vertical. This angle is nothing but the critical angle, right? So at what angle will the fish see the whole thing? It will be at the critical angle, this much angle from the vertical. So I just need to find out the critical angle. Sine inverse of what is the this thing 1 upon 4 by 3, which is sine inverse of 3 by 4. From the clear.
Yeah.
Chal. Next heading, please write. Apparent shift of an object due to refraction. Now there will be certain cases involved. There are actually 4 cases, but we'll be doing only 2, obviously, because the other 2 will be virtual object, right? So case 1, there is a real object in denser medium, and the observer is in rarer medium. So basically, this is case number 1. Guys, have you started writing this thing?
Yes, sir.
So suppose, guys, there is an object O at a height, how much? HO, right? So can I say this particular thing, sorry, light rays will go like this. Can I say like this? This will be an incident ray, this will be a refracted ray, this is the normal incidence case, and the second light ray will go like this. Yes or no? Will the light ray bend away from the normal? Yes or no, guys? So can you see over here, object is basically these two are the incident rays. Since the incident rays are diverging away from each other, hence the object is real. And can you see over here again, if I produce this thing in the backward direction and this thing in the backward direction, here you will form an image, right? So let's say the image is formed at a distance of hi. This image will be virtual, right? Yes or no, guys? Will the image be virtual since the reflected rays are diverging away from each other? And a refracted rays diverging. So image is virtual. incident rays are diverging, that implies object is real. Yes or no? Itna clear hai guys? This was the
Yes.
basic concept, object and image. So now the question is how to find out what is the this particular thing, what is hi and what is ho, right? Generally this object distance will be given to you, rest everything you need to solve. So suppose this is the angle of incidence. If this is the angle of incidence, will this be the angle of incidence? Suppose here, if this is the angle of incidence, then will this be the angle of incidence, right or not?
Yes, sir.
And similarly, if this is the angle of refraction, will this be the angle of refraction? Yes or no? This medium was rarer, this medium was denser. So let's say mu d and mu r. Where is the observer? Here is the observer. So can you see the observer is in the rarer medium? Then only this thing. Can you see, guys? This image, this observer is in the field of view of this image. You remember field of view? So hence this observer can see this image, right? So tell me, hello. Now, can you see two triangles, guys? Let me name those triangle as O. This is I. This is, let's say, P, and this is, let's say, Q. So there are two triangles. One is IPQ with this angle as R. This height is basically HI, and there is one more triangle which is OPQ. This angle is I. And what is this PO? That is basically HO, right? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? So can you see from here you can write tan I is basically equals to what? Or tan R is basically equals to what? PQ divided by PI. And here you can write tan I is equals to PQ divided by PU. Yes or no? Can I take the ratio of both of them? Can I write tan I by tan R is equals to tell me, guys, will it be equals to IP, or basically PI upon OP? Yes or no? Or can I write it like HR bar H? Yes or no, guys? Yes or no? Can I write it like this?
Yeah.
Also from Snell's law. Can I write with the help of Snell's law applied on this particular surface, mu d multiplied by sine of I? Mu d multiplied by sine of I should be equals to mu r sine of r into mu r, right? Mu r into sine of. Guys, can you see this particular thing? This Snell's law is easy to apply, right? So from here, can you see sin I by sin r is equals to mu r upon mu d. This is our second equation. So with the help of this two equations, you are able to relate. You are able to find out hi by ho, right? Apply some maths and you will be able to find out this thing. The special case will be for near normal incidence. Now, if the light rays, the angle made by the light rays is very small. For near normal incident, that applies this light ray which is passing like this, no? In spite of passing like this at certain angle, it passes like this, and then very small angle, right? So for near normal incidence, we can say sin I can be approximated to tan I can be approximated to I, right? Yes or no? And similarly, sin R can be approximated to tan R can be approximated to R. So basically, these two equations by equation number 1 and 2, they become equal. If sin I and tan I are equal, sin R and tan R are equal, then this 1 and 2 I can combine together, right? So basically, from here, hi by ho will become equals to mu R by mu. Can you see over here, mu r is basically less than mu d. That implies hi will also be less than ho. And that is which is clear from the diagram. Can you see hi was smaller as compared to ho? Okay? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So please
Yes.
write this one. What is hi? Hi is basically where the image is located. Can I say where the image is located? Basically apparent depth. This is the depth which will be appearing to you, right? Where height of the object was at. So can you see, guys? This is basically the ratio of apparent depth to real depth. And so what will be the apparent shift? It is basically the real depth minus the apparent depth. And generally take a mod. Okay? Take a mod of
Yes.
this thing. Why, sir? Why do we need to take a mod? So because sometime in the next case, what will happen? Apparent depth will become greater. You know? I'll give you this. So always take a mod and direction. This is the magnitude of the shift and direction thing by drawing the line. And guys, can you see in this particular case, the diagram drawing part is very simple. First ray you need to draw what? First ray is basically the normal incidence, and the second ray is basically going from rarer to denser. You need to think whether it will go away from the normal or towards the normal. Accordingly, you make the image and get the answer. Okay. So this is clear. Is this clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Please write it. We'll do the second case then. I'll not do the whole thing now. I'll just draw the diagram and explain the final result. All the remaining analysis you can do. Done, guys. Then, shall I go to case 2? Guys, shall I go to the second case? Now the second case is again there is a real object, but the real object is in the rarer medium now, and the observer is in the opposite medium, which is basically the denser medium. This is the second case. So suppose this is the rarer medium, and this is the denser medium. This is mu r, this is mu d, and let's say the object is in the rarer medium here. I will draw it a little bit closer. So can you see, guys, the object is over here. So one light ray will go like normal. Yes or no? Can you see one light ray will go like this? This will be your, and this will be your refracted ray. The second light ray will go like this. This is your incident ray. And tell me this particular thing, guys. If it is going from a rarer to a denser medium, how shall it bend? How shall it bend?
Towards the normal.
Towards normal.
So will it bend like this? Yes or no? If it bends like this, then can I say this particular thing? The image will be formed by producing the reflected rays backwards. So can you see here the image is formed? This will be basically your SI. Can you see over here incident rays are what? Incident rays are diverging. Can you see? This is going like that, that is going like this. The incident rays are diverging, that implies object is real. Whereas, can you see the refracted rays are also diverging, that implies image is virtual. Is this clear, guys? If you want to compare from the previous, then I'll just write it like this so that it was earlier I wrote refracted ray first, right? Yes or no? Up here, can you see, guys, over here? HI is greater than HO. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? When you do the whole analysis and find out what is the ratio of HI by HO, it will be always mu in such a way. Actually, you know this particular thing, na? Sometimes you don't even need to create the formula, just directly do it. Can you see over here, mu d is always greater than mu r, right? Mu d is always greater than mu r, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And you just need to draw the diagram. Automatically from the diagram, you can see that HI is greater than HO. So always remember this thing, you know this particular thing. In front of the greater thing, the bigger magnitude thing will come. It's a direct proportion ratio, right? Smaller thing. So you can make these formulas on your own. And please remember, this is for near normal incidences. Now in this case, guys, what will be this will be the apparent depth, and this will be the real depth, right? Okay, guys, any doubt? And what will be the, once you get the HI and HO, you can find out the shift. Always shift will be the magnitude of real depth minus apparent magnitude only, mod out. So the formula is going to be the same. Case 3 and case 4, I'll just draw the diagram, just write the result. Case 3 is basically virtual object rarer medium, observer immenser. So, guys, have you written the case 2? Guys, have you written case number 2? Now,
Yes,
in the
sir.
second case, what is there? The object is over here, but can you see the incident rays coming like this? This is my incident ray, and this is my incident ray. So, can you see over here, incident rays are basically now converging. That implies object is virtual. So when this happens now, can you see over here, guys? The light ray is going from a, let's say, rarer to a denser medium. If it's going from a rarer to denser medium, where will it went? Towards the normal, away from normal?
Towards the normal.
Towards the normal will be something like this. And can you see the light ray will pass through this particular point? Huh? So this will be the refracted ray in this case, and here this will pass as it is. So this will be the refracted ray in this case. So can you see the image is actually getting formed? So here the object was virtual, the image was real. Can you see that the light rays are actually emitting? The reflected rays are converging. Hence the image is real. Actually emitting. Is it clear? Again the same thing, guys. HI, tell me which is greater, which is smaller. Can you see this is your HO and this is your HI? Which is greater? HI is greater than HO, right?
Yes, sir.
So you can write directly HI by HO is basically mu D upon mu I. In front of the bigger thing, you'll write the bigger refractive index. In front of the smaller height, you'll write the smaller refractive index. So manipulate. And please remember, Dekho, can you see over here? Here HI by HO was basically what? Again, can you see when the image HI was more, mu D was up? And can you see in this case where HI was small, mu R was in the numerator. So you can make the formula on your own, calculate the apparent shift. Case 4, I'm leaving it to you people. चलो मैं क्या बोलता हूँ. Virtual object in rarer medium and observer is in denser. See, observer has no interest in seeing the object. Observer has interest in seeing the images, right? So the object was over here, the observer was over here. The observer was over here.
Can you scroll a little up?
और अब
No, sir. This is
shall I give you some question based on this concept? As a case 4, will you people try? It's okay, I'll do it. Shall I do it or you people will try? Achha, by the way, with that thing, I'll be done with this thing. There will be some questions of question also. We'll start with prisms after this. We'll do some questions on apparent shift and all. In the next class, we'll start with prism. We'll finish prism, and then we'll start with the refraction through curved surface, single spherical surface. In two, three, four more classes, I guess, in this week, ray optics will be complete, and we'll start with wave optics. Then need to draw the diagram on your own. I'll just tell you from where to begin with, है ना? You need to complete this whole thing on your own. Here in this case, the object is in the rarer medium and the virtual object is there. So basically this is your incident ray. Let's take the object a little bit higher. So the object is over here, and this is another incident. So guys, can you complete the whole diagram on your own? Anna? I have just given you a hint. Object is virtual in feet. Why is it virtual? Because incident rays are converging. Okay? Chalo. Anyways, let's talk about question. Do this on your own. This is a homework for you.
SR be less than HO in this case?
What?
Will HR be less than HO?
Yes, HI be less than HO in this case. Now, question. An object lies 100 centimeter inside water. Refractive index 4. It is viewed from air nearly normally. Well, near normally, pata nahi, I don't know. Near normal. Right? Now the question is, find the apparent shift in the position of object. Actually, the object is not shifting, right? The object is at its place. But we see the image of the object a little bit up or down or whatever it is. Enough? We need to find the apparent shift in the position of object. You need to find the shift, not the depth. Shall shuru ho jao. And start. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll be back. Yes, guys. What's the answer? Guys, what's the answer? Please don't do like this. See, simple. Draw the diagram. In every case, whenever you have apparent position or apparent shift question, draw the diagram. Object is where? The object is lying in the water, right? Yes or no? Hello? At a distance of 100
Yes.
centimeter, right? It is viewed from air. So where the observer is? The observer is over here, right? So which case is it? Or even if you don't remember the case, no need, कोई बात नहीं, मत कर. So one light ray will go like this, one light ray will go like that. Say this will be one light ray, and another light ray will go like this. Now it is going from a denser to a rarer, denser to rarer, away from normal, right? So when you will back produce these rays in the backward direction, here you will get an image. Yes or no? So this is basically HI. So no, we know since it is near normal, HI by HO, and can you see clearly HI is less than HO, so it will be equals to mu R upon mu D. No need to memorize the formula. Just जो भी बड़ा है उसके सामने बड़ा, बड़े के सामने बड़ा, छोटे के सामने छोटा, right? In front of the bigger thing, write the bigger refractive index. In front of the smaller thing, write the smaller refractive index. Accordingly, make this equation and solve. So HI will be equals to mu R 1 mu D 4 by 3 into HO. Can you see HO will multiply over here? So this will be 3 by 4 into 100. So can you see height of the object is how much? Height of the image is? Apparent depth of the image is at 75 centimeters. So what is the shift? Real depth 100. Apparent depth 75. So what is the shift, guys? Shift is 25 centimeter, and direction you can see. Can you see the shift is upwards? Yes or no? Is this clear? Is it clear, guys? Shall I give you one more question based on this as a homework? Guys, shall I give you one more question as a homework? Same concept is there, but try to do it on your, on your own. There is a bird. I need to draw a bird, okay? Okay. These are our legs. So there is a bird and there is a fish. So there is a bird and a fish. Both are actually at a distance of 36 meters and 36 meters from the boundary. This is air and obviously this is water. Right? They're not living in a parallel way. So the refractive index is 4 by 3. Now the question is, find first apparent height and apparent shift of bird as observed by fish, and second case is apparent depth and apparent shift of fish with respect to bird. So here in this case, the observer in the second case is bird, and in the first case it's the fish, right? So try to do this thing, okay? Is it clear, guys? The answer for this will be find apparent height of the bird. Apparent height of the bird will be 48 meters and the shift will be 12 meters. Obviously, can you see 36 meters is the height. The bird's image will form somewhere over here. Fish's image will form somewhere over here as observable. So anyways, I'm not giving you the answer yet. Try to do it on your own. Next concept, guys. There is one topic left for in this apparent depth only, guys. Can you leave 2 pages over here, guys?
Yes, sir.
Please leave 2 pages over here and write the heading over there. Apparent shift in case of composite slab. Please write this heading, huh? And leave 3 pages, 2 pages, complete pages, right? Done, guys. Are you done?
Yes, sir.
Heading done. अच्छा, what's the time? The time है थोड़ा बहुत. We can still do prism. After leave 2 pages. After leaving 2 pages, write the next heading, prism. Everyone know what a prism is, right? Hmm. Please remember, in the case of a prism, there are many different types of prism, right? There is this trihedral prism. What is a trihedral prism? In which there is this. Can you see this trihedral prism, guys? Can you see there are two triangles in this thing? There is this triangle ABC, a triangle DEF. Can you see two triangles and three rectangular surfaces? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys?
Yes.
So basically, can you see these two? All these rectangular surfaces are at certain angle with each other. This will play an important role. So generally, you have this in your syllabus, but apart from this, there is a pentahedral, prism as well. What is a pentahedral prism? There is this pentagon, and it may be a regular pentagon. It may be a irregular pentagon, depending upon the. Can you see this? This is a pentahedral prism. Basically, two pentagons and five rectangular surfaces. So basically, what is a prism? A prism basically is a medium which is bounded by number of rectangular surfaces and two polygons, right? Two identical polygons are there. Two triangle, two pentagon, right? Can you see over here? So two identical polygons and some rectangular surfaces. Always remember, the refraction will take place from. The refraction will only take place from the rectangular surfaces only. We'll always consider the refraction from rectangular surfaces. And similarly to trihedral, pentahedral, there is a hexahedral, octagonal. There are many different kinds of prism. What is this prism used in? Prism is basically used to refract the light ray in certain direction, or basically to deviate the light, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Please write refraction through. And these are your derivations. There was one derivation of a composite slab, right? The rectangular slab. That derivation is important, school point of view. And there is this next derivation of prism. The refraction through a tetrahedral, trihedral. Trihedral prism. normal. So suppose guys you have a prism and you are looking it from the front, right? Hello guys. Let us assume that you have a prism and you are looking this prism from the front, right? A, B, C. Let us say the prism is kept on this surface BC. Do you remember this BCEF? So can you see the prism is placed about on the about this surface, right? So
Yeah.
this BC is basically called as what? The base. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
The angle opposite to base is basically called as the angle of prism. So here, what is this angle is? The angle which it makes over here. This angle A is basically called as the angle of prism. Now tell me this particular thing. How many surfaces are left? Only AB, ABED and ACEF or ACFD, right? Only these surfaces are left. So one is this AB and one is this AC surface, right? So the refraction will take place over here. Now let us assume that a light ray is incident at an angle of I on this surface. So what will happen? Let us say the refractive index is basically mu. Refractive index of the prism is mu. So let us consider we have a prism which is placed in air and the refractive index of the prism is mu. Then if I incident a light ray over here at this particular point, what will happen? This light ray will reflect towards the normal, right? So can you see this angle R1? R1 is basically the angle of refraction on surface AB. So when this light ray will pass through this particular thing, what will happen? It will incident on this surface, where if I draw the normal again, so can you see this angle? This angle is basically R2. And it will come out at an emergent angle. This I and E may not be equal or may be equal. So did you understand the basic case? The angle of refraction on surface AB is R1. The angle of refraction on surface AC is R2. This may be equal, they may not be equal depending upon the value of angle of incidence. Kitna clear hai?
Yes, sir.
Shall I draw the diagram again? Yes, fine.
It's fine.
So can you apply Snell's law? By Snell's law for AB surface. Can anyone give me for AB surface? AB. Yes, Mridul, can you apply Snell's law on surface AB? Is Mridul here?
Sine I by sine R1 is equal to mu.
1 into sine I is equals to mu into sine R1.
R.
Similarly, for surface CD, for surface AC, can you apply it again?
Sine R2.
Mu into sine R2 अंदर है medium के. So mu multiplied by sine R2 is basically 1 into
Sine E.
sine E. So basically, can you see over here by applying Snell's law, you'll get two equations, 1 and 2, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Now let's name this triangles a little bit. Let's say this is D. Let's say this is E, this point of intersection, and let's say this point is F. So everyone can see a triangle DEF somewhat like this. Can you say this ray was basically the refracted ray from surface AB, right? I'll draw the diagram a little bit more interesting. This was the surface AB, and through this surface AB, I'll draw the normal. This will be the normal one, normal on AB. Similarly, this will be normal on BC. There is this point D. There is this point E, and sorry, this point was E, and this point is F. So the light ray was basically going like black. So this is how the light ray was going, right? Yes or no, guys? This angle is R1. This angle is R2. Yes? Yes or no?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Now if I draw the prism was like this. Can you see this perpendicular? The prism was like this. These are your normals, right? This angle was basically A, right? So how many triangles, how many things you can see over here? Can you see D, E, F, A? I'll tell you this D, E, F, A is basically a cyclic quadrilateral, and you'll ask me why. Pucho? I'm telling you this quadrilateral A, D, E, F is a cyclic quadrilateral. What is a cyclic quadrilateral? A cyclic quadrilateral is basically that
Opposite
quadrilateral
angles
whose
are
4
equal.
points lie on a circle, right? So
Circle.
basically that is a cyclic quadrilateral. Sir, how do you know it's cyclic quadrilateral? First of all, angle D A F है ना? नहीं, ये देखो पहले तो angle A P E. This angle you can see, guys. The angle between the normal and the surface, is it 90 degree?
Yeah.
Also similarly,
Yes, sir.
angle AFE is also 90 degree, right? So these two angles are basically 90 degree, and whenever in a quadrilateral, if the sum of two opposite angles is 180 degree, then that quadrilateral is cyclic. This was also one of the theorem in 10 grades, as far as I remember. Anyways, this is a cyclic quadrilateral. Sir, what's the point of having a cyclic quadrilateral? अरे बहुत ही आसान है. Can you see over here? This whole angle is 90 degree. This whole angle is 90 degree. Tell me what is this angle? If this is R2, then what is this angle? What is this angle? Will this be 90 minus R2? And similarly, will this angle be 90 minus R1? Yes or no? Yes or no, people?
Yeah.
So can I say this particular thing from the knowledge of this particular thing, we decided these two angles are 90 degree, or it's a zaruri nahi tha, we can normally do this for extra information, right? So this is R1, then this is 90 minus R1, this is R2, then this is 90 minus R2. So in triangle ADF, 90 minus R1 plus 90 minus R2 plus angle A. Can you see this angle A? Angle A plus this angle, the sum should be 180 degree. So from here 180 and 180 will get cancelled, and from here you can give the equation A will be equals to R1 plus R2. Always remember the sum of the angle of refraction on the two surfaces is equal to what? The angle of prism. Okay? This is your second equation, and with the help of this, this is your third equation, right? Yes or no, guys? This is your third equation. First two equations were over here, and this is the third equation which is found. So with the help of these three equations, you can solve for anything in case of prism. Okay, there is one more formula which is for angle of deviation, which we'll learn in the next class, and we'll finish off with this chapter. We'll finish off with the prism, and we'll start with the refraction from a single surface, single spherical surface. Is it clear, guys? Any doubt?
Yes, sir. No.
ठीक so that's
I
it
had
for
a doubt in
हाँ
microscopes.
हाँ बोलो
So in the textbook, it's given
which
when we have
microscope
to find.
compound simple
Sorry,
which microscope compound simple
simple.
okay
And it says, I'll read it out to you.
hmm.
We will now find the magnification when the image is at infinity.
Hmm.
And in this case, it has to be obtained by angular magnification. And then they've written the maximum angle it can subtend and be visible without a lens is when it's at the near point. Without a lens, I mean, aren't we talking about a simple microscope where there's a lens? I don't get it. I don't get that line.
फिर से once more मैंने एक काम कर message me this take screenshot message
Okay. Okay, cool.
चलो ठीक है guys we'll see you again in the next class आज के लिए इतना काफी है
Thank you, sir.
okay
Thank you, sir.
अच्छा who else who was absent only Vaishnavi is not there right चलो ठीक है guys bye bye
Thank you, sir.
okay